Project Goof. If you're watching someone as small as I am in the Invader community, then by now you've heard of Project Goof, the ridiculously skilled backstab fisher. I've seen the guy kill gank squads of overleveled phantoms with meme weapons, ring knight paired greatswords, cast spam, you name it. The guy is ridiculously good at the game, but he could do better. For some reason he has this weird predilection with having fun, and will go for backstabs in times where he doesn't really need to, where they're too risky, or where they're just not needed. So what I want to do is incorporate those skills into my gameplay, and use them where they make sense, where they'll be effective and useful, because high frames and critical damage are no joke. So I see this guy with an ultra weapon and decide to go for the backstab against him. I see this guy with an ultra weapon, I decide to go for the backstab against him. And then I see that guy has an ultra weapon, so I go for a backstab on that one. So this level of backstab memery that Goof can pull off isn't out of my reach, but damn if it isn't difficult. And everyone can see the usefulness, or in some cases, enjoyment, that can come along with a playstyle like this. So, a bunch of other content creators are trying to do the exact same thing. You got Saint Riot practicing backstabs, Pincognito practicing backstabs, a bunch of other people practicing backstabs. And watching it can just get infuriating at times. It's like watching a parry spammer. Like, you know how they'll just parry at random and hope it works? Like, because they're trying to figure it out? Like, just, come on, Pinko, just hit them with the fucking weapon and they'll die. Stop going for backstab. Anyways. The usefulness of a backstab is situational, like a parry. There are times where you should do it, and there are times where a turn and burn R1 would do the exact same thing, with much less risk. You shouldn't go for them because they're there, you should go for them because they make sense, because they'll be effective. And that's what I've been trying to do this whole time, what I've been trying to learn. So for me, that's going to be two techniques. There's pivot stabbing a shield turtle. Like, for example, when a great shield's turtle is chasing me, I can't turn and burn him because my weapon won't crack his shield, I'll lose stamina, and then him and his entire group will be on top of me, and they'll have stamina. But if I can backstab them, the shield stops being an issue. It stops being there at all. So if I can figure out how to do that, I'll finally have a counter for, well, shields. Or all of them, really. The great shield user chasing me has been like one of my #1 foils. And so much so that I actually added a war pick to my build just so I could deal chip damage and get through the shield as quickly as possible. It'll also be useful for quickly putting out damage on lone phantoms who have poise weapons that I can't break through. Sometimes you'll see these Havels with great clubs, people with enough poise and hyper armor weapons to tank the Murakumo, and while it's rare, it can happen, and suddenly the Murakumo's greatest talent, interrupting attacks, doesn't work anymore. So being able to hurt those guys quickly means you have to be able to attack them even though they're swinging, which is going to mean backstabbing them. You see, opportunities to hurt phantoms when they're alone are few and far between in invasions, and you have to take as much advantage of them as possible. That's why in invasions you can't be super passive like in a duel, because you'll lose opportunities and eventually you'll make mistakes, especially when there's 4 people swinging at you at the same time. By the way, the R2 ambush here instead of an R1 was because the R1 might have bounced off the wall. I've had that happen to me a couple times in the past and decided to start doing R2s instead. It's just a safer option, more guaranteed to put damage out there. So as of right now, there's 4 of them, and they're afraid to move into the PvE. So, I use one of my strategies for dealing damage while the host and his phantoms won't move forward. I stand just at the edge of their range and hope they make mistakes. See, this guy with the ultra here is not afraid to swing at me. Which means, when he whiffs an R1, I can punish it and do slow damage, chip damage over time. Good, get out of here, you weren't doing any good anyway. Now the host is currently, what in the fuck? How'd that hit me? Anyways, the host is currently throwing the shittiest pyromancy available to anyone. It won't do any damage if it makes contact, as you just saw, but it will stun me. So that makes it dangerous regardless. So as a result, I start demonstrating what a huge fucking hypocrite I am, and go for backstabs when it would have made a lot more sense to just go for running R1 punishes. I notice he's out of stamina, or figure he is, because that was 5 swings in a row, an attack. Manage to hit him. Don't get the running R1 roll catch because latency, and certainly, you know, not because of any fault on my end. I don't ever make mistakes. And in just a moment, I'm about to demonstrate how you shouldn't use backstabs. Right here. I did get it. I did get the pivot stab, but I took a ton of damage. I put myself in a position to be caught on the wake up with low health, and I really didn't do any more damage than a regular running R1. I mean, a regular R1 combo. As a result, I'll put the Hornet Ring on and give that another go. Now it makes sense to go for these stabs. And if you've noticed, now that I've taken damage and healed once, the host and his phantoms are suddenly emboldened to come after me. That's another benefit of the stay right at the edge of their range and fight them approach. If you start to lose, they'll get confident. Then they'll start to move forward, and you can use that to your advantage. Anyway, so now that I have the Hornet Ring on, a backstab is viable. Not only will it do more damage than 2 R1s, but it'll also give me iframes, so I won't have to commit to 2 very slow and very punishable R1s right in front of them. Also, there's a little bit of an intimidation factor. Afraid now? Every single attack is getting you hurt. They might be seeing this guy's R1 spam and thinking, hey, I should go for a roll backstab or a pivot stab on him, but Memestab against a curved greatsword is just too risky. It's not something I can do consistently, and I don't think it ever will be. Maybe it is for some ridiculously good players, but not for me. So it's just not something I'll go for. It's not worth the risk. You can see the host is immediately driven back from the gang squad, and oh look, an opportunity to hit this guy. Poison's interrupted, and I go and start hitting him with the old skitter school of hit them with the goddamn weapon and they'll die. Probably one of my favorite martial arts. Almost had his friend there, but he managed to drive me off. And that's one of my favorite things about Bloodborne. They got rid of the stupid, your weapon hit the wall, haha you lose thing. Alright, Phantoms are alone, separated, and scared, so it's time to move in, capitalize on their separate... Oh my god. How's it feel to get stuck in the blender for once? Yeah, it's always fun when it happens to the other guy instead of you. Alright, 1 down, and I still have the gang squad that can work with me here. So let's hit this guy in the back, do our best to protect the mage, who should be parrying the shit out of that guy right now. Running R1 to interrupt almost all plays, even that ultra great sword, so I really feel like it's safe to use against, well, pretty much anything. The mage unfortunately dies, but it's still 3 versus 3. I've got a good chance of winning. Now there's only 2. This fight is suddenly winnable. 2 opponents can be managed. 3 is too many, 4 is too many, but 2 opponents can be beaten one-on-one if you're paying close attention and you have the right weapons and armor. Hyper armor is basically what I'm saying here. Sir James is holding his shield up, and I've got a Hornet Ring on. Nice knowing you, buddy. So it's time for the co-op host. Do what co-op hosts do best. Run the fuck away from any semblance of challenge. This has got to be my favorite part of every invasion, chasing after the host who knows he doesn't have anything he can do to defend himself. Like, this fight's over already, and this part is just a formality. So let's edgewalk a little. I mean, why not? Actually, fuck this whole chase down. We all know how this movie ends. Let's just skip to the good part. It could end no other way. Well, I'm gonna go hunt some more booty, and I'll see you all next time.